Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? I'm Jay Immanuel, and I want to welcome you guys to a new Right to Real Love live show. As you guys can see, I'm joined by two very special guests on tonight's show. Got my girl Pamela and my man Patrick joining me. What is going on, you two?
Going on?
Hey, hey.
Yo,
Hey,
first
what's
and
up?
foremost, I'm excited to have both of y'all on here. Both of y'all have been guests on the Right to Real Love podcast. Y'all both came on, dropping gems. And I'm like, yo, I got to have them on the live show so we can dive into some amazing topics. So I just want to say, Pamela, thank you for joining us tonight. Jay Patrick,
Pleasure.
thank you for joining us tonight. It really means a lot to me, you guys. With that
Absolutely.
being
Thanks
said,
for the
like, how you
Yeah,
opportunity.
guys been? Pamela, how's your week
yeah.
been?
It has been great, busy. Starting off, like I was saying earlier, lost track of what day of the week it is. Like
Right.
I thought it was already like Wednesday, Thursday. That's how busy. But I've been blessed. I cannot complain.
That's good. That's good. What about you, Jay Patrick? How's the new year going for you so far?
Oh wow. It's been a year. It just when you feel
Already,
like
like yo, we
yeah,
just it seems
yeah,
like
like
it's been a year.
I
all
know.
right.
Let us know, man. What's been
Not a few
cracking?
days, not a few weeks. It's been a year
But a
already.
year.
Yeah,
Right,
it's this year is yearing, as they say.
right.
Telling you.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
but it's all
So
good though
what's
at the
the
same
deets,
time.
man? Like, what's made it a year already?
Just I don't think 2021 ever kept stopped. So
Oh
there's a
man,
sense in
that's
which it
real.
just December
It just kept
31st
going.
was January 1 was January 2. So it's like there was no and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. So when I say
Right.
it's a year, it's been a year, that's not necessarily negative. It's just been busy.
This is what it
Yeah.
is. Yo,
Yeah.
I ain't mad at that. Yo,
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
As
not mad
opposed
at
to
that at
doing
all.
nothing, which I would absolutely hate.
Right,
Right.
right. That's facts.
Yeah.
That's
Mm-hmm.
facts. Well, I want to
Yeah.
welcome everybody in the chat. JD Clay, good evening to you as well. So glad that you're here. Anybody else, if you're joining us, definitely drop a comment in the chat. We would love to give you a shout
Yeah.
out. Thank you for being here. And right on cue, Tiffany, here she goes. She says, hello, Jay and your guests, Pamela and Jay Patrick. Looking for a great show. Blessings to
Yeah.
all the chat mates as well. Yes, it's going to be a great show tonight.
Yeah.
Before we get into it, I always like to warm things up with our little icebreaker, three random questions. So I got three random questions lined up for Pamela and Jay Patrick tonight. And I like to let the ladies go first. So
Absolutely.
Oh,
I'm gonna
great.
let you go. So do you want
Okay.
one, two, or three, Pamela?
I always like even numbers, so let's go with number two.
Okay, number two. So the question is, what is the last book you read?
Oh, the last book I read is the what is it? I'm reading across the room. Last Day in June. I cannot remember the name of the author right now, so I should probably give you another one. My
Right.
favorite book that I read last year
Mhm.
was by Tarana Burks, Unleashed. Her
Mm.
autobiography.
Nice.
Awesome. Awesome.
Wow. Gotta check that one out. Gotta check
Very
that one
good.
out. Yo,
Very good.
before we come to you, Jay Patrick, want to give a huge shout out to Katiwe. Thank you so much for joining us. So glad to have you in the building tonight. Looking forward to you and your chats. Always great comments. So definitely keep y'all eye out because they definitely be dropping gems. But Jay Patrick, man, what about you? What was the last book you read?
Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. No, I
Man,
sound
yo.
like a nerd already. I've
Nah, man, that's
it's
heavy reading, man. What was
yeah,
your take on
it's
it?
a classic, so I needed to revisit it.
I gotta
So
check
you
that
read it
out.
before?
I've skimmed it before.
Got
So
you.
reading it in its entirety was a new exercise for me. But it's as old as that book is, it's still timely and it still applies. I'm reading the book, I'm
Okay.
like, wow, whoa, that's
Right.
crazy.
Right.
So it's good.
Oh,
I
I gotta
gotta
check
check
that
that
out.
one out because similar to you, like I've skimmed it, but I've never like did the deep dive and like read it fully.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, yeah, I'm gonna have to check that one out. Nah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
So
man.
Jay
Cool.
Patrick, you want question one or three next?
Give me three.
Three. So the question is, do you prefer the
Uh-oh.
aisle, the window, or the middle seat when you
Not
flying?
even a question. As soon as you said aisle, I was like, nope, window. Window.
Window.
I'm a year-round hoodie flyer.
I ain't mad at that. You
Yeah,
said
so
year
whenever I
round
fly,
hoodie flyer. That's a new one right there.
regardless of the weather, it could be 104 degrees outside. I've been to
What?
Africa before, like several times, and I fly into Africa with a hoodie on.
Wow, man.
That's because when I get on the plane, I put the hoodie on,
Yeah.
I close my eyes, I go to sleep. I'm trying to sleep before the plane takes off. That's
My
my
man
that's my
said before
standard
that J in
operating
the take
procedure.
off.
Woo!
Yeah,
Hold on.
I put the seatbelt where the stewardess can see it, so you don't have to wake me up.
Yeah.
And I'm out. The only time I need to
Wow.
be disturbed is if there's food. or an emergency. Other than
That's real. You like
leave
sleep,
me alone.
food. That's all I'm trying to do on this flight.
Yeah, wake me
Yeah.
up for that meal, right on.
Yeah.
Oh man, I ain't mad at that, man. I ain't mad at
Nah.
that. Yo, that is
Window seat
hilarious.
all
My
day.
man said he got the hoodie. So you one of the people, J. Patrick, you like, don't talk to me on this flight.
Yes.
I'm not here to have no conversations. I'm
Yes.
not here to meet nobody new. Just here to catch these Z's.
One time,
Yeah.
so I live in LA. One time I got on a plane and there was somebody already sitting down. Normally I can kind of get there before somebody does for whatever reason.
Right.
But there's one time in particular, and this is a funny story. There's a woman sitting in the row. And I was like, oh, like very rarely do I get to sit and, sit beside people who are already in the seat. So I jump in. I'm like, hey, how you doing? And I'm in the process of preparing to go to sleep.
Right.
And I talked to her for maybe 3 minutes. Come to find out, we live in the same, like I'm leaving Cincinnati, Ohio, random city, on the way back to LA. Turns out she lives in LA and we go to the same church, but I didn't know it.
Wow. What is the likelihood?
Right. And we've been friends ever since. Like super cool. Like
wow.
I was like, oh man, this is crazy small world. And then I went to sleep.
Nice to know you, but I'll check you.
Like, I'll talk to you when we touch down.
Right.
Like, it's great to know where you from, how we connected. But right now, the way me, this hoodie, and this flight is set up, I'm about to catch these Z's.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Yo, I am not mad at that. So let me go to the chat real quick. They letting us know about the books they've read. So Tiffany said she read Blackout by Candace Owens. That was the last book that she read. Okay. And then Katiwe says the last book they read was Lakewood. Now, what's Lakewood about? Give me a little. I've never heard of that one. Have you guys?
No.
Yeah. So definitely give us a little bit more details on what that one is about. Tiffany says she loves the window seat as well. Definitely not mad at that.
Hit you with that Denzel, my person.
Yo, that is hilarious. That's classic, man. That's classic. JD says prayers and declarations that open the courts of heaven by Robert Henderson. Y'all on that. Y'all on that deep reading, man. Yo,
I'm telling you.
Y'all on that. I ain't mad at y'all. Y'all getting y'all prayer on and building up the kingdom. That's what it's called. I ain't mad at that.
I see.
Katiwe says, I agree with Tiffany. Window is the best. Okay, so we coming to you, Pamela. Window, aisle.
No, I'm
middle.
not a window person. I can't.
Oh, look, we got the flip side.
I feel like claustrophobic, so I always have to sit on the aisle.
That's real.
I'm the aisle person.
Yeah.
I cannot do it. I like having that control. It is.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the problem. I like having the control.
You control who go in the aisle, who come out the aisle.
Yes. I like
who go into the bathroom, who not.
Yes. I want to see what's coming toward me, everything. I just like an exit strategy. I just have to have it. I don't know what it is. I cannot sit by the window. I just freak out. It's too much for me.
That's what's up, yo. I'm not
I will turn my back on you. And there is no world on the other side of this little dividing thing. It's me and the world this way or
that's it.
But the hoodie. I'm just like,
but see, I'm like you, like with the hoodie. I don't care where I'm going.
Yeah.
Hoodie down. Yes.
Yep.
All the time. No, I do not want to have a whole bunch of extraneous conversation.
Nope.
But I want to sit on this aisle seat. Yes.
Right.
Wake me up for that meal. Yes.
Exactly right. Exactly right. I was flying with a mask before COVID. So put on your mask, put on your glasses, put on your hoodie. You are unrecognizable. Wave cap, beanie, whatever it is, you are unrecognizable. Not to say that anybody knows who I am. I'm just saying.
Right.
Oh, I'm unrecognizable.
Yo, but you preparing though. He's preparing. Like he was like, yo, y'all didn't know me before I blew up, and after I blow up, y'all still ain't gonna know me when I'm sitting right next to you.
Right. In coach.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
In coach too. Yo, you taking it to the next level. He like, yo, I'm gonna still be in the coach right there sleeping.
Right. Like you look like I'm asleep. What you talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about. Right.
Right.
Masked up, suited
right.
up.
I ain't mad at y'all. I'm not mad at y'all. I'll admit though, I do get my sleep on, but I don't come on the flight with the mission to sleep. Like I usually use flying to get through some reading. So like I remember when I used to be traveling back and forth for work, I definitely used that time to definitely zoom through some books. And then when I was done reading, definitely catch a few Z's on the flight. But yeah.
I have narcolepsy on a plane, so.
Oh man, I ain't mad at that. You like out.
I'm trying to get some rest, so I'm right with you on that. It's right. Sleep. Don't.
Yeah.
Don't even talk.
It's one of the few places in the world I feel helpless. and I have no control. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
might as well surrender to the process. Like once I'm in the air, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen.
Nah, that's real.
I
That's
like
real.
Jesus, you got it.
Yeah. That's on you. Yeah.
I'm gonna go to sleep because
Look,
you don't.
Pamela, you're not alone. JD says our seat is the best.
It
Y'all like to
is.
control what's happening in this environment.
Yes. And when you have to go to the restroom,
Yes.
you can keep a good eye on the
Right.
restroom. So when you
Right.
see it's clear, jump right up. I
Facts.
don't have to crawl over anybody. I just jump right up.
Right.
Now,
I got
that
it.
is the downside of sitting in the window. You got to step. Excuse me.
Right.
Yeah.
They be
Mhm.
mad, or you got to
Right.
hold it till everybody else gets up. And you're like, "Why?
Yeah.
Since y'all up, I
Nope.
might as well."
Now I
Follow
got a
my
question
steps.
for you, Jay Patrick. You know, being
Yo,
somebody that tries to sleep through the whole flight, you know, in those instances where you do have to go to the bathroom, have
mhm.
you ever had like the person that was sitting next to you waiting for you to come back? Because now he's not asleep.
Oh yeah,
I'm waiting to get that conversation when he
yeah,
come back from the bathroom.
yeah. That's happened. That's
Yeah.
happened. But I just try to be as nice and as cordial and concise as possible.
Right.
Like,
That's
I'm
when the hoodie goes
sleepwalking.
up.
You
Yeah.
just didn't
yeah,
know it.
the hoodie never comes off. So it's like you're aware that you're talking to somebody that you don't fully recognize.
Right.
And as
Oh
long as
man,
we
that's
can both
classic.
acknowledge that fact, we can have this brief conversation.
And see,
Right.
I think when the hoodie is up, you're giving the signal that you
Yeah.
don't want to talk. Like when
Exactly.
the hoodie is down, that
Mhm.
Yep.
means I'm available. Hoodie
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
It's like a shield. I
It's
don't want
like
to talk to you.
down is fashion, up is function.
Function.
Right.
Right. Right. Yes.
Yo, that is spot on, man. That's spot on. So let's see. Katiwe says Lakewood is a fictional book based on the history of experimentation on Black people in America. Wow. It's not
Mhm.
overt at first, and the story actually unfolds really well. I highly recommend it. Yo, I
Check
got
that
to
out.
check that one out. See what it's
Yeah.
about. Yeah,
Me too.
Nope.
definitely appreciate that. All
Yeah.
right, so here's our last random question. What or no, who is your favorite character from a different world?
I'll
So
let the
coming to you with
lady.
this one, Pamela.
I know. And I knew you were gonna come to me, and yeah, I'm struggling because I'm like, who is my favorite character? See, I like Kim. I liked Kim Reese. I loved her.
Yeah.
But then I loved Whitley too.
Mm.
So it's just like,
and they are like complete opposites.
yes. But I just because I can relate to Whitley in certain
Right.
ways. And then Kim she was always so strong, so focused, so intelligent. But then in the end, she would let loose too. So I feel like those two are my favorite characters.
Okay. I'm not gonna press the issue. You can have those two. I ain't mad at you. What about you, Jay Patrick?
Dwayne. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's my guy, man. Like,
right.
Yeah.
there's nothing like seeing a sincerely good-hearted Black man on television
Right.
that I think was good for the culture. Even in his mess ups, there was still something redeemable and admirable about him. Like, of course, him screaming out, "Please, baby, please," all that, like at the wedding, it's like, oh my gosh. And then when you see the history behind that scene, because now they're doing like behind the scenes and they tell you all the stuff about it. It's
Right.
like, oh my gosh, that was magic, man. And then like I got a chance to work with him a few years ago. And I was like, man, I appreciate you, bro. And he was like, yeah, that was he's like, those were some dope years. Those are some dope years. So yeah,
Nice.
hands down.
I love that. So what's up to my girl Tanisha? Welcome to the live stream tonight. So glad you could join us. She says Whitley because she evolved a lot. I
Yeah.
just got finished watching an episode. See, yo,
See?
I love the fact that we can tune in. Oh,
Yes, Whitley learned how to be a fully evolved woman.
she
Really,
did.
she
Yeah.
learned.
She did.
Mhm.
So Tiffany says Kim is my favorite character for sure. Yeah, Kim was
Yeah.
dope. So
She was so cool.
I ain't mad at that.
Yeah.
Cool. So, yo, we done made it through our random three. Just want to let
Okay.
everybody watching know if you ever have any questions that you like to submit for random three, all you got to do is go to righttoreallove.com/questions. Leave your questions and we'll answer them on a future live show. But tonight, people came here for a very specific reason, which is the reasons why your ex keeps coming back. So
Oh God.
we ready to dive into it. And I want to kick
Okay.
things off. And I'm going to kick things off on a personal note. And I'm going to be fair here. I'm going to go to my man, Jay Patrick, first and say, have you ever gone back to an ex? So before we even talk about the exes going back, have you ever been that ex that went back?
I have a standard rule.
Okay.
The day the relationship ends is the day that we end.
Mm.
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 That's a
Yo,
hard
you
and
said
fast
that
rule.
with some finality too,
Okay,
bro. Like, did
like
you
it's
Yeah,
feel that,
over.
Pamela, or was it just me?
yeah,
I felt
I
that too.
kind of
Like it
felt
was
that when he said
yeah,
boom,
it.
yeah.
over.
The day that the relationship is over is the day that we're over, and that's not because of any bitterness or anything like that.
Right.
Mhm.
It's just best. And the reason I state
Mhm.
I tend to use a picture of your life being a theater and you being on the stage, and in the front row of the theater there are people who have designated seats.
Mhm.
So as long as, in my case, the woman singing is occupying that seat, then by definition the woman that should be in that seat can't get in the seat. So I need you to get up out of that seat because the show's continuing to go on. So as long as you stay in that seat, the person who's supposed to be sitting there can't get to their seat. So
Right.
God bless you. I got a seat for you in the balcony.
In the balcony.
You still get to
Damn, at least she's
you still
still
get
in
to
the
watch
building.
this
She's still in
unfold,
the
but from a
building.
distance. When you're sitting in the balcony, I can't look out in the audience and tell who you are. But you sitting in the front row, I'm gonna get some remnant from the light to
Mm.
identify who you are. Ooh, that's deep.
Okay.
Let me get my Hammond B3. I'm just playing.
Okay.
But to answer your question directly, I did it one time, which
Okay.
is where the principle began.
Right.
As an undergraduate, I did it one time
Mm.
at my mom's recommendation
Mm.
to
Oh,
girls.
okay. Yo, look, I love the way he like, yo, I'm gonna explain my way out of this one. Like, see,
No, it was
Okay.
it wasn't
I
really
heeded
me
Mama's
that
her
advice.
wanted to do
Mama
that.
told me. Yes.
because when we broke up the first time, my mom said she's coming back.
Mm.
I told her about it, and that's not like my mom had no real knowledge of my dating life or nothing
Right.
like that. But she asked about this one young lady in particular, and I told her the scenario and everything surrounding everything. What led to the breakup. Keep in mind, I'm a freshman in college, and my mom's like, Patrick, she's coming back,
Mm.
and she didn't. She. My mom's not a prophet, but she was a prophet that day.
Mm.
And the young lady came back and we tried it again and it didn't work again. And I was like, I'm good.
Yeah. I'm curious, do you think the first or the second run was better?
Both were good for different reasons. I
Okay.
think the first time it was pure
Mm.
Mm.
Okay.
and innocent, not perfect. There's a sense in which nobody's perfect. Absolutely true.
Right.
But even in your naivete, you still are aware of the sense that somebody's perfect for you or right for you.
Mm.
And that was my
Okay.
heart posture at the time.
Mhm.
Now I grew and came to learn that, maybe that wasn't the case, but that's what I genuinely felt. That's my point.
Right.
My love for that relationship was more pure the first time around. I think it
Yeah.
had been tainted by the second time around a little bit, but that was my own fault because I went off into
Mm.
another way of doing things.
Right.
Yeah,
And I'm not gonna dive into that pool. We'll
that's
we'll
part of
let
the
that
testimony. It's
we'll
all
let
right.
you keep
Yeah,
that one. We'll
Yeah.
let you keep that
yeah,
one.
that's another
But nah,
episode.
man.
Yeah. Please.
That's good. That's good. No, man. Like I love because that's always the question for me. Like I've only ever circled back one time,
Yeah.
and that's always the question when I know people have gone back to somebody that they were with before is which one did you think was better? And
Yeah.
similar to you, I don't think either one was better. They both were good in their own rights, and
Mhm.
they happened for a specific reason both of those times. So
Right.
yeah, man, I can respect that. So we got a few comments before we come over to you, Pamela. So
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Tanisha says, I think we all have had that one ex that we gave a second chance. Yeah, I think most people have had at least
Really.
one. At least
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Kaziwe says, I agree, Patrick. I have cut off all of the men I was in a relationship with. This has also evolved into her no new male friends after 25. She broke the rule and it didn't work out well for her.
Wow.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
new friends. No new
And no
friends.
new friends.
No, no, no. Is that the note G? Is that G
Right. I don't
flat?
know.
I don't know.
Yo, I definitely missed that class. I definitely wasn't a music student.
That's funny.
But nah, man, like that's real.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do have to go with that rule, that standard, as you put it, Patrick, where you just got to be like, nah, I can't do that no more.
Mhm.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
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 So, Pamela, coming over to you. Have you ever been that ex that went back?
Of course. I mean, like
Okay.
we said, everyone's had that one ex that you've tried
Mhm.
to go back to.
Right.
And I did it because if I think about it, I got pressured from friends, not my parents. My mom and dad were those kind of parents. They were like, look, we're gonna give you some advice, but we're gonna
Mhm.
let you make your decisions. And
Mhm.
then after, when it doesn't work out, we're gonna tell you we knew it wasn't gonna work out,
Yeah.
but we had to let you figure it out first. So yes, I went back to him, and I thought it was gonna be better. Like
Mhm.
I thought, we could make it work, but it just wasn't. It just
Yeah.
wasn't. The behavior didn't change. And
Right.
that's what I didn't understand. Like it was like I
Mhm.
went back to this person thinking, which was naivety, that this person had changed, but they hadn't.
Mm.
And it's just like you're going back and enabling bad behavior.
Yeah.
Right.
And it
Right.
just creates more trauma for you and him.
Mhm.
So yes, I had to cut that off and have that same philosophy.
Yeah.
No new friends.
No,
Yo, that's real. Yo,
Yes.
you're not the only one. Tanisha even responded. She was like, same. She got the no new male friends. She said,
Yeah.
cut them off. Even had to
Yeah.
cut off guy friends that she know who are leading to nowhere.
Facts.
yeah.
That's a whole nother episode.
That's
You're
real.
right.
Yo, you have to be willing to cut them off, right? And let's be real. I think some people like they cutoff game is like immaculate. Like it
Right.
has no chill. Oh, what's up?
No,
Yours,
I was
like
identifying. I'm a part of that team.
Your team cut off quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
yo.
Whew.
so
With
so with
respect,
that,
but yeah, no.
I respect
with
that.
that being said though, that brings up a question, right? Which is like, do you feel like there are some times when your cutoff has been preemptive? Like it was a preemptive strike. Maybe you shouldn't have done it, like where you kind of second guess the cutoff after the fact. Have you ever? Talking to you,
Family.
Jay Patrick. He like, nah,
Oh,
never.
oh.
Me?
No, uh-uh.
Both of y'all like, no. I'm
Yo,
sitting
you
over here like,
No.
he's like
Because
never in life.
even in the one time that I referenced,
Right.
it was I was a I was apprehensive.
Mhm.
Uh so it was more about not even taking anybody's advice. It was more about and I identified a trauma. And we're gonna get to this because this is I imagine we'll get to this.
Mhm.
There's some level of validation that a person potentially needs from an ex that will cause them to allow that ex back into their life.
Right.
amen. Yes.
Right.
So particularly when the reason that the relationship didn't work the first time was because the person hurt you and now they come back. There's a sense of
Right.
validation that you're seeking from a person that will, in some instances,
Mhm.
be the root cause for you opening that door to re-grant them access to your life, your heart, your mind, and things of that nature.
It's real.
So that was at the root of my cause. Of course, you don't know that when you're 17 years old, but
Right. Nah,
yeah,
that's real.
Yeah.
Going to the chat, want to give a huge shout out to Virtual Maven. Appreciate you joining us. Welcome to the live stream. She says, what Pamela said, allowing bad behavior. Yeah, you can't do that. We can't do.
Yeah.
We got to cut that off. Don't allow it.
My cutoff game was so weak.
Oh
So
man, yo,
weak.
so you was the opposite.
I was the opposite.
Yo, so you pretty much you needed to be in Jay Patrick's class learning the
Yes, I
lessons.
needed to learn how to cut it
Yo, Jay
quick.
Patrick, you got to put on a seminar, man. Help the people with the weak cutoff game
Yes.
to get it
yeah,
strengthened.
it's funny,
Ooh.
man.
Yeah, so Katiwe says, exactly, Tanisha. Why do I need to make new male friends in my early 30s? I can be friends a couple. Hold on, let's say I can befriend a couple. Okay, I get you. I can befriend a couple. That's it. Or my friends' husbands when they are also present.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
limited.
true.
I mean, because we talked about it a few live streams ago where I was sharing with the young ladies that having a lot of male friends can be a hindrance to you getting into a relationship and more importantly you meeting your husband. You know, most guys do not look favorably upon a woman that has all of these men running in and out of her life. So yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on for sure.
I agree,
So
but
what's going on? V Sanchez is in the building. Thank you so much for joining us on the live stream tonight. Definitely happy to have you here. So there was something that you guys had mentioned when it comes to that cutoff game, right?
Oh yeah.
Pamela, how did you strengthen your cutoff game? Like, how did you get to a point where you could really be done with them?
I got tired of repeating the same cycles.
Mm.
Like after a while, it's like, you start to see the same type of people appearing,
Right.
and you have to at some point say, it's not the person, it's me. Let's just be honest. You have to deal with yourself and figure out what type of validation are you looking for that would allow you to accept less. And I got tired of
Mhm.
accepting less. And it took a hot minute for me to get my cutoff game up. I have
Right.
gone through a few stories, unfortunately. But now that the cutoff game is strong, oh yeah,
Mhm.
I'm to the point now. Yeah, when we start talking to friends, oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I know it's going nowhere. I'll block your butt. I don't care. I will block you quick. I had in one, and the block game is so strong that I
Right.
know his sister. His sister, like one dude, we are
Mhm.
cool. His sister and I are really close, but I
Yeah.
block him.
Mm.
I had
Wow.
him blocked so long, I unblocked him just for a hot minute because I was like, oh, I'm being petty. He was like, I'm just glad my call could go through. And then I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I should have blocked your butt again
Right.
because it's not going anywhere. The behavior is the same. And you just
Right.
have to take that ownership with yourself to really figure out, why am I inviting that in? I need to use every tool in my arsenal to stop blocking, putting that energy in.
That's
And my
real.
friends should be cool. I don't care if she's
Mhm.
mad. Yeah, I'm gonna
Right.
block your brother. I'll block his butt today too.
Right. Just be glad you're not blocked. You know. I
Pretty
mean,
Right.
much. Yep.
Right.
count your blessings.
Count your
Right.
blessings, sis. Yeah. You got to do that to protect your peace.
You do. You
Indeed.
do. So
Indeed.
we had a comment come in from Virtual Amazing says, it can. I saw the behind the scenes of male behavior and almost stopped dating. Yo,
Yeah.
you got to be mindful, right? Like
Yeah.
that behavior can definitely put people in a position where they're like, they don't even want to date no more.
Mm.
And we know that it's not everybody, right? It's not everybody, but that's where I think, going back to what you mentioned, Pamela, we got to start looking at ourselves, right? And analyze, like, is it me? Like, am I the common denominator for, like me having to cut and block all of these people? Or, is it actually them? So, I think that puts us in a position to at least reflect on ourselves and then make a determination whether we want to just stop dating altogether.
Right. And
Yeah.
I've stopped dating for a little bit, but don't let that stop. At some point, you got to heal up because you're going to be lonely forever if you don't.
Yeah. That's real. That's
I
real.
mean, just honest.
Yeah, Tiffany says, Pamela, you learned quickly. It took her a while, though.
Yes.
And Virtual Maven says, yes, the block game is strong. Not
Strong.
bad at
Right.
that around.
Mhm.
Katiwe says, you are so right, Pamela. Protect your peace. Yeah, you got to protect your peace.
You
Got
Always.
to.
do. Especially as you're getting older. I mean, no offense. We can't
Mhm.
be out in these streets 50 plus trying to worry
Right.
about blocking people out of our
Right.
lives.
Right.
It's time to cut this up.
The
Yeah.
older you get, the longer it takes you to recover from a fall.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Think about that with elderly people.
That's
Mhm.
true.
When you
Mhm.
fall as a 7-year-old, you bounce right back up.
Right.
You fall as an elderly person, you need help, and you might bear the consequences of that fall for the rest of your life, depending on the nature of the fall. And your heart is similar to that.
Yes. That's
It's
what I was
only
gonna
it's only so many falls you can take.
Yeah.
That's real.
But that also speaks to the responsibility that you have, to your point, Pamela, to
Mhm.
steward how you walking.
Right.
Right.
Because if you keep falling because you're not being mindful of where you're walking, that's on you.
Mhm.
Agreed.
It's not people tripping you up. It's like
Right.
Yeah.
you chose the terrain.
Right. And it's like, if you don't start to be mindful of your terrain and what you're doing, you can't get mad when these people keep coming back, because I am a firm believer God gives you what you're ready for. If you
Mhm.
show God that you are only ready for
Mhm.
this, you're going to keep getting this. But when you show God that I'm willing to do the work and fix myself so that I can get what is supposed to be out here, the person I deserve, believe me, the exes will stop. You won't even have to do anything. But as long as you don't start guarding that part of yourself, they're just gonna keep coming back. It's just like a boomerang, and you're just gonna be mad at yourself
Right.
until you get honest about, like you mentioned earlier, Patrick, the traumas.
Yeah.
Because that's what's holding you to these situations.
I'll tell you, I'll probably share some more of these as we continue this conversation, but I'll drop one now. One of the things that punched me in the face, you date according to your self-esteem.
Ooh, that's a word.
Wow.
The
That is a
people you
word right
partner
there.
with in relationship, romantic,
Right.
platonic,
That's
professional, are a direct reflection of your self-esteem.
Mhm.
Subconsciously, there are people you look at and you disqualify yourself from them because you see them as above you, which is a commentary again on your self-esteem. Then flip side of that is there are people that you subconsciously look at, maybe overtly, and you look down upon them because you say that they would never meet your qualifications or your standard, which is again an indication that you date at the level of your self-esteem. So when you look across the aisle at somebody you deem to be your quote unquote equal, that's a reflection of how you see yourself. And when you come to the conclusion that I'm dating a reflection of how I see myself, then the personal responsibility and accountability kicks in.
Mhm.
And you got to do some hard work there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yo, you
Ooh.
dropping gems already, Patrick. Yo, I ain't mad at it.
Me either. That was
Yo,
so true. So true.
yes, yes. Anything you wanted to add to that, Pamela?
I was going to say, just full transparency. I have, like I said, I've gone through my share of bad relationships, and I had that wheel mentality. I had to admit for myself, I did not start to grow into making better decisions for my relationships, for myself, until I went through trauma. Like I had to, I had to literally hit rock bottom. Like my father died, I became a caregiver. Like my life just kind of imploded in a way, and I lost control of things. So in the rebuild process, I had to learn my worth. I had to learn my strength, all of the things that made me a quality person. And in that journey, that's how I learned I'm really a great person. So why am I so willing to accept less in a partner?
Right.
And then at the same time, knowing that I have this worth, I can't entertain every kind of conversation. I can't entertain every kind of person because I know I need strength behind me. So it forced me to do the work, to grow up, to heal those traumas.
Yeah.
And you're right, it's messy work. And a lot of people don't want to admit that, because when you're going through relationships, it's like sometimes you feel like the easiest way to get over someone is to meet someone else. No, actually the easiest way to get over somebody is to sit down and think about how you contributed to this relationship not working out and what this person contributed, and figure out what you're going to do different, heal those traumas, and then move forward. Not just jumping from person to person. Not saying that people are, because even there's nothing wrong with casual dating, but just don't make your heart a casualty of those casual dating.
That's good.
Wow. That's a
good.
word right there.
That's good. Yeah.
That's real good. So let's go to the comments for a second. So Tiffany says, yes, trauma kept her revolving in and out of a subpar relationship because she had to learn to love and value herself more. That's real. And Virtual Maven is co-signing that. Yes. So then Katiwe says, yes, Pastor Patrick. Yo, they didn't call you Pastor already, bro.
That's your name. That's your name now.
Already, yo, that's hilarious,
crazy.
man. Standards on paper and the execution is the reflection of your self-esteem. I feel like it's also a reflection of your trust in God and what his best looks like for you. That's real. That's real.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tiffany says, wow, thank the Lord for restoration and healing. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. She also says, get to know yourself better before moving on to the next relationship, always. And JD Clay says, yes. Yeah, we definitely got to do that for sure. For sure. Man, yo, that was so good. Yo, before we transition into our next question, Pamela, you have an amazing podcast, and I would love for you to share it with everybody. Let them know what it's about, how they can check it out, all of that good stuff.
Thank you so much. Yes, the Well Done Life podcast is a podcast that I created for the ladies. It is a space for women. I want us as women to have more conversations where we connect and grow on real levels. We talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we help empower each other. I think we need to have more conversations. We get so blinded by what we see on social media and stuff like that. Everybody's life looks really great in pictures, but a lot of us are going through a whole lot behind the scenes, and we've experienced a lot of growth. So I think by having conversations, we can do it. So I spotlight women, talk about their stories, and create resources where we can hopefully connect and grow together. So I hope you guys check it out. Check me out on all streaming platforms. Would love to have you as a part of the family.
Most definitely show my girl Pamela some love and support. Really appreciate it. I made
Thank
sure that
you.
I dropped the link in the chat, and I also put it in the description after this live show so you guys can refer back to it and check it out. So yes, and Virtual Maven says, love her podcast.
Aw.
Miss seeing you live, Pamela. So we were just talking about that.
I know.
Those confirmations be coming through. They're like, see, we missed the live Pamela.
Yes, I'm working on it. I'm getting there. Thank you.
Katiwe says, I would definitely check it out. Sounds great. Yeah, it is.
Thank you.
Yo, she's doing amazing work with her podcast. Definitely something that's needed. So keep up the great work for sure, Pamela.
You.
So let's talk about the question of the night, which is, why do exes have the tendency to come back? Give us one of those reasons, J. Patrick.
Why do exes continue to come back? I think it has to, and maybe I'm jumping the gun here, it has to come back to personal accountability. Because an ex can only come back to the degree to which you allow them to come back.
Say that again. That's a word right there.
An ex can only come back to the degree to which you allow them to come back. So in other words, if you erect boundaries around your life, around yourself, that prohibit that activity from happening, then by definition, it can't happen. But if there's a point of entry, a point of access that you allow to remain open, should that ex choose to take that option or take that avenue, then by definition, you've left it open for them to come back. And that's a matter of personal responsibility, personal accountability. We could always, go back to the old thing back. You want that old thing back. But I think
that could go different ways too.
A whole bunch of different ways. Some of them old things you probably need to leave as old things.
Right.
But I can't get past personal responsibility because an ex can only, again, come back to the degree to which you allow them to come back.
Yes.
No, that's good.
Oof.
Before I come to you, Pamela, just want to point out what we have in the chat. So Virtual Maven says, because it's comfortable and it's easy. And that's very similar to what Tiffany says, which is convenience. Convenience. Yeah, that's real. So coming back to you, Pamela, what do you think is oh, you got something? Patrick, what's up?
Familiarity, comfort, convenience. But also we romanticize the past.
We do.
Yes.
We do.
Everything that you think about from your past, unless it was profoundly traumatic, you think of it in a romanticized version. It was the best of something. And you very rarely take into account or take into consideration the hurt, the pain that it caused. And if you do consider those things, the good stuff far outweighs the bad. And when that's the logic, that's the processing, that's the lens through which you think about a past relationship, that's why you leave the door open. And that's why you get that, that person showing up on a ring alarm of your heart saying, hey, I'm outside.
Right. Don't do it. Don't do it. What do you say, Pamela?
I say all of that.
Yeah.
And really, the first thing that came to my head was, because he knows he's built you as a fallback plan.
That's
literally
real.
I hate to say it because I've been in that position, but that's what it is. He's built you as a fallback plan. To me, that's big, because guys leave. Sorry, brothers, sorry, but some of y'all leave it open, leave it ambiguous, as I like to call it, ambiguous, please. And they just know that they can creep back in. And then to your point, it's accountability on our part to realize this person has showed us who they are. We have to believe them. Stop trying to make it into more than what it is. Recognize that this relationship is exactly what it is. And we have lost our power in a way of how we think it ended. And now all of a sudden he's like, hey, I ain't got no other options, so I'm back.
That's real.
Can we talk about the signs that you ignored to get into the relationship in the first place?
Talk about it. Speak on it, Patrick.
Yes, don't press Patrick.
If you're honest with yourself, again, I think we're noticing a thread here.
Yes.
Everything I'm pointing to is personal responsibility. This ain't got nothing to do with your ex. This is everything to do with you.
It does.
Control what you can. Kind of what we talked about with the airplane, right?
Right. That aisle seat, baby. Yeah. The aisle seat of love.
That's
right. Did you wash your hands? I'm sorry. All right.
Right. I will ask that though.
personal responsibility. What were the signals that you ignored to get into the relationship in the first place? What were those red lights you just blew past, blew through? Because I promise you, when you broke up with a person, you was like, why was I with them in the first place? Like, why did we get together? Like, I knew that this wasn't going to work, but I still kept going.
Right.
He was cute.
So when I ignored those signs and I've wasted days, weeks, months, years that I'll never see again. And now I'm in a cycle, Pamela, using your word.
Yeah.
Now I'm in a cycle that I can't get out of, that I shouldn't have never gotten into had I been aware enough, had enough esteem to say no to begin with.
Right.
You knew you weren't supposed to be with that person on the first date. 3 years later, it's like, what happened was, all right, period.
Man.
Now let's keep it honest.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Some of us never just made it to the first date. Some of us just been strung on with great conversation,
Yep.
and, clandestine little text messages, little
Uh-huh.
here and there, come go to dinner with you and a friend, and
Yep.
you think that's a date in your mind because you romanticize this into more than what it is, and then 5 years later you sitting here and the dude still hasn't shown you
Right.
Right.
any type of commitment because you just get caught up, like you
Yeah.
said, with it's a self-esteem,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's key as to
Yeah.
why we get into some of these crazy relationships. Lack of self-esteem.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's real. Let's go to the comments for a second. So Tiffany says, yes, we forget the negative and focus only on those few good moments. Yep. Going right back to what you said, Patrick. Kasiwe was saying, yep, so true, Pamela. Tiffany says, it's fear of growing and being alone. And that's real. That's real. You know,
Yeah.
that's when people start to do more than settle. They really start to just
Yeah.
compromise what they know in their better judgment is a relationship and a person that they never should have been dealing with from the very start, like you were saying, Jay Patrick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Katiwe says they want a self-esteem boost. Yeah, we were talking about that. You know, that boost to the self-esteem. Yeah. What's your take on that, Jay? I saw the reaction. What's your take?
All right, I got this. Gonna get me in trouble because
Uh-oh.
I'm being vulnerable. I've had to realize, golly, this is bad. Okay, how many times do we get into a relationship out of vanity?
Mm,
Mm.
mhm,
So it's not so much that you like the person, it's
mhm,
that you want the person to like you.
mm.
Very
Wow.
different.
Wow.
So you engage in these performative acts
Mhm,
Mhm.
to get the person to like you, but you never come to the actual realization that you never really like the person.
mm. Wow.
You do so much for the validation, for the affirmation.
Mhm.
It's like, and one way this shows up, and I'll use it from a male perspective because that's the only one I know. It shows up as the hero complex, the good guy.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Mhm.
these men have hurt you in the past. I'll swoop in and show you how a man is supposed to treat you.
Captain Save
Da,
him.
yep, da, da, da,
Yes.
da,
Yeah.
and you like, wait, I don't like you. Not that you're a bad person, but it's like I don't like you. I want you to like me, and I want you to feel good about me because
Mhm.
there's something in me that needs to be affirmed as a good person. So I'm concerned about how you see me as opposed to my actual emotional investment in this relationship.
Right.
That vanity is problematic. And
Right.
I think upon further investigation, that's one reason that we see a lot of relationships collapse.
Mm.
People are 2 years in coming to the realization that they didn't like the person. They just were trying to present an image to the person to get liked back.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
just a thought that I had while I was reading.
And I'm curious. I would like to get your thoughts on this, Pamela. Why do you think some people tend to enter into those vanity relationships?
The first thing I think about is self-esteem because I've been there. Like
Mm.
you were captain, I was sister. Captain Save.
Right.
I've done that
Yeah.
personally, just full transparency as well. I have, where I tried to make sure that I was like the perfect person.
Right.
Like, let me fix your plate.
Right.
I have driven from
Mhm.
city to city to come
Mm.
and take you back to my city because you
Mm.
needed me. You had somebody else who could have done this, but
Wow.
no, I have to leave my job and make sure
Mhm.
that I do it. I wanted to
Mm.
make sure that I presented myself as that ideal person.
Right.
Mhm.
And I really, to me, felt like looking back on that time of my life, it was self-esteem.
Yeah.
I just was
Mm.
not 100% confident in myself. And
Mhm.
I don't remember the young lady's name who mentioned about the fear of, being alone and
I think that was
growing.
Tiffany.
Tiffany,
Yeah.
she's
Mhm.
100% right because I mean, hey, let me be full transparent too. I'm in my 40s. I'm in my late 40s. So they make it seem like as you get older and you don't have a man, something must be wrong with you.
Mhm.
So that when you sometimes, to me, society perpetuates a fear in women. Like, you got to make sure if you get you a man, you got to be the best thing that man has ever seen, because you may not ever get another one, which is totally not true. And there's never going to be not enough time for you to have love. Like, you can have it if you want it and you're open and healed to it.
Right.
But you will put yourself in these positions where you're so focused on the vanity, on the look of it, because you're afraid, and that lack of self-esteem. And it's terrible. Yes, I have been that person, and it is a hard road to come back from.
No, that's real. Yo,
Thank you for sharing
before,
that.
yeah, well, definitely both of y'all. Like, let me thank both of y'all. You know, Patrick, for your vulnerability, Pamela, for yours as well. You know, I appreciate you guys for getting transparent and vulnerable and sharing your experiences. It means a lot.
It's funny because you're asking yourself this question, like, why would you reject the perfect person?
Right.
Like, I'm dope. Like, all this stuff I've done, I've performed. I've been like, when you listen to a podcast or you watch a talk show, I'm the person that you said you wanted. So why would you reject me?
Right.
But at the same time, you're not showing up authentically in a relationship because you're so concerned with performing and presenting the image or the picture of the ideal person.
That's real. That's real. Wow. So let me give a huge shout out. Cynthia's in the building. We appreciate you for joining us on tonight's stream. Definitely appreciate it. Glad you're loving the conversation so far.
How
Tanisha
dare you,
said,
Cynthia, get here late? How dare you?
no,
Who do you think you are?
All good, yo.
No, we
Better
playing.
late than never, man.
Yeah, so glad you're here. So glad.
We welcome anybody to join at any point in the conversation. Yo, the cutoff game. We know your cutoff game is strong, Patrick. Patrick, like, hold on, you wasn't here at 7,
right?
Like, and we still letting them in though.
You supposed to be here at 6:52.
The door opened at 7 and it closed at 7:05. Like, why are we still letting them in?
Right. What's the problem? So glad you're here. That's so funny.
Oh man, that is hilarious. That is hilarious. Yo, but look, she said she's sad. She missed some gems. You definitely did. Good. Because yo, he already done got labeled pastor already. Before we even hit the 30-minute mark. So you already know the gems he was dropping to get labeled pastor.
I got the Bible.
Yo, he got the Bible right there. Yo, now why you break the Bible out, man? Yo, not next thing they go by with a collection plate.
Right. Okay, that's what I was about to say. Come on,
Talk to Jay about that.
Right. That is hilarious, man. That's hilarious. Let's see who else we got here. So Tanisha says, we fall for their words and not their actions. That right there. That definitely happens. Absolutely. Tiffany says, yes, Pamela, that sense of desperation birthed out of not knowing how valuable you are yourself. Yeah, that's real. Katiwe says, I've learned that you can't save everyone. Not everyone is an assignment, and someone you have to address and minister to, you can break up. That was something I had to learn and not feel guilty about. Yeah, sometimes they are just an assignment. Some people, you just got to talk to them, minister to them, what have you. It's not really about a relationship. So definitely got to be able to do that. So Kaziwe also says, yes, Tanisha, empty promises and no action. That's real. Yes. And preach it is what they saying.
we gotta get you was on time, but you can
man, that is hilarious. Oh man, yo, this show is good already. Yo, first and foremost, I just want to take the time to just give a huge shout out to everybody who's been contributing to our show. Want to say huge shout out to Portia, Tiffany, Asia, and Nicole. You guys have contributed financially to the show. If anybody else wants to support, you can just go to righttorellove.com/support. It'll be in the ticker below. But I appreciate you guys for, supporting us and seeing the value that we're adding here. And as you can see, like tonight, we got 2 amazing guests dropping some outstanding gems. And I'm excited to get even deeper into this conversation about exes coming back. So I want to come back over to you, Pamela. Are there any additional reasons that you feel like people will circle back?
See, to me, I really do. I hate to say it. I think it's the fallback and self. The person has a plan. They know they can soft plays the land. And the fact that you didn't do your accountability, like the pastor said, you didn't get your block game strong enough to avoid that. Seriously.
Yo, I am at that. Yo, Katiwe says, yo, Patrick, you got that preacher tone when they teach in seminary.
That's funny.
You do that.
I am at
That's
it.
funny.
You
I'm
really
scared
do.
of that.
So here's another question, right? Patrick, I'm coming to you with this one.
Okay.
do you feel like some people actually are waiting and wanting their exes to circle back?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So what's the psychology for the people that's like, "Ooh, I can't wait till they come back"?
Validation.
Mm,
Validation.
mm,
In some rare instances, I say it's marginal. There's some revenge, some spite, perhaps attached to it. I told you, I knew it. Yeah, your ex is not a running back, but they came running back. Kind of stuff like that. But but they there's but then there's also, it's like, access to resources. People come back for all types of reasons.
Mhm.
And we've explored some that are perhaps below the surface, but let's
Right.
look at some surface reasons that they come back
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Perhaps they're coming back because you was giving them money.
Yep.
Perhaps they're
Yes.
coming back because of who you're connected to,
Mhm.
Right.
and the level or the standard or the quality of life that they experience with you. They've experienced life without that, and it's
Right.
like, no, I want that back. Again, it might be
Right.
pertaining to access, relationships, network, opportunity. You might just be like, again, you might be dropping a couple of dollars in their pocket. You might,
Yeah.
that one dinner you cover a week
Mhm.
might be what they're coming back to. It's like, oh, I can save that $15.
Right.
There are a myriad of reasons,
Yeah.
because you were useful,
Mhm. Mhm.
and they were gaining from what you provided. So that, I mean, that again, that's certain a bit more superficial than what we alluded to earlier, but
Right.
I definitely think it's a serious reason why people come back.
Nah,
Yeah.
that's real. Before I come to you, Pamela, there was a chat message in here from Tanisha. She says women in their 30s and 40s get more criticism when they are single than men in their 30s and 40s. Hands down. No doubt.
Hands down.
No
Yeah.
doubt. No
Totally
doubt.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No question. No
Whew.
question. And Tiffany was also saying, yeah, validation for those people circling back. Yeah, no doubt.
Mhm.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So what's your take on it, Pamela? Why are some people sitting there, just happy, waiting, wanting their ex to come back?
From a woman's perspective, I think some
Mhm.
of us, we want to show, or maybe even a man's perspective, we want to show them what they're missing.
Mm.
You know, we do. We want to show them what we're missing. Let's just keep it a
Right.
buck. Like, oh,
Right.
I'm over here thriving. The skin is
Right.
glowing.
Uh-huh.
I'm making my money.
Yes, melanin.
Yeah,
popping.
melanin is popping. So I
Right.
want you to see what you're missing out on. It's
I'm drinking
fine.
water. I'm in the
Yeah.
gym.
Right.
Got a new
That's what I
hairstyle.
am. I'm
Yes.
traveling. See, you could have been on this. You could have been with me if we
Uh-huh.
had stayed together. So
Right.
you kind of do. You want that little bit of revenge. And then I do agree. Sometimes it also is a financial aspect because you were doing all these things for this person, and because I have come into some people that say that they date multiple people for different reasons. So some exes,
People that keep a rotation, Pamela?
yeah, they keep the rotation
They got a
going.
rotation.
But sometimes it could be as simple as this person just gives them emotional support. Like they're seeing somebody else, but unfortunately, like you said earlier, Pastor Patrick, that person is not tying it all together emotionally.
Yeah.
So you're their comfort. You know,
Mhm.
they want to run things off you. If they're maybe they're trying to start a business and they need your access and your information. I've seen that come up as well. And I mean, just simply put, if you taking care of a brother, you know,
Yeah.
he's probably like, look, it's getting cold outside. I need somebody to help me get a couple bucks, get me some
Right.
sweaters, some new
Right.
sneakers. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
just a whole litany of reasons, but I really
Yeah.
do think a lot of it all stems back to validation, trying to make
Mhm.
themselves
real.
feel good about
Mhm.
Yeah.
and needing that approval, which is bananas. You got to get
Right.
past that point.
Right.
Yeah. And that's funny because, you talk about how, sometimes the women had a tendency to go back for, the financial gains. But like you mentioned, Pamela, that brother, he was like, hold on, the new
Yeah.
PlayStation did just come out.
Oh,
Mhm.
I
yeah.
know she'll buy it for me and
Right.
let me stay on the couch. Like, I mean,
Right.
he a whole
That's a hobo.
son.
He's a hobosexual. That's what that is. A hobosexual. Yeah, that is a whole new term, hobosexual. It's wintertime too. A lot of people are looking for places where they could maybe, like you said,
Right.
lay on the couch because he
Uh-huh.
got kicked out of his apartment.
Right.
He needs a spot, or he can hold your car and go to work.
And look, he know you're not gonna starve yourself, so that means you're not gonna starve him
Starve
either.
him.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
he's looking for somebody to take care of him. He
Right.
thinks they're his mama, not
And
yeah.
that's true. And women's places are comfortable.
Yes,
And
it's
dudes be
clean.
like, I got this, this Target lamp
Yeah,
and this TV with a head on the back.
Right.
oh yeah,
I got this
Bro-
basic pot and pan set. Why would I live like this when I could live like
absolutely. Especially if
yeah,
he starts calling around dinner time all the time. He's
right.
he's hungry. He's
Like
can
right
eat a
now,
plate.
you got art hanging up. You got a pillow on your couch. Ain't no dude
Right,
got no pillow on his couch. You got that
Right.
futon.
Yeah. So
Hey, look, hey, Patrick, and her walls are painted too. Like, so
Yeah,
like she
yeah,
actually put some work into that
yeah.
place
You
to
got a
make it a
theme.
home.
see, that's
You
what I'm
probably got
saying.
vacuum lines on your floor, all kind of stuff. Like,
Yes,
Right.
I
You know,
do.
it
I
probably
try
got
to
to
keep it
smell good in
together.
the
Yes.
aroma. Got
And
the
right.
that's
candles
what
lit.
some of these
Over there
dudes
got
are
a,
looking for. Homosexual,
got that
homosexual.
chamomile and that lavender and lilac.
See, we're there. Yes.
Got that,
Be warned, ladies. Homosexuals are real in the streets.
yeah.
Nah,
Smell
that's
like
real.
warm
So,
vanilla sugar at your house. I'm trying to come back.
Right.
Whenever he started mumbling, just
Yeah. No. Send them on the bricks.
right.
yo, that's facts. So, with that being said, Pamela, why do some women let the hobosexual back in? That sounds so
That sounds
weird, bro.
crazy, doesn't it? I
That
know, but
term
it's true
sounds
though.
so weird.
It is. Y'all can Google homosexual. That is a term out here in the streets. Homosexual. It is real. Because validation, and
Okay.
because it's comfort, and because especially if you catch someone where they're not feeling their best, and they have that moment of weakness. They're like, oh, I can work with this. I'm tired of women working with some brothers. Like, stop working with a brother. Like, a homosexual is not a work with brother. That's a project. We don't need projects.
Right. That's
We need
charity.
partners. That's
Yeah.
right.
Literally, that's charity.
Charity. But
Yeah.
I think a lot of women, sometimes we get caught up because, we're looking for that. And this person is showing interest they're caring for us in this weird way. And we think that, oh yeah, this is enough. I can take care of him. I can change him. Please. Cannot change anybody. So that's a problem we have. We have to stop trying to make people into what we want them to be. So that's why I think a lot of women take them back in.
Yeah.
That's real. Anything you want to add to that, Patrick?
I want to present this validation concept in a slightly different way.
Please.
It's the need to be needed. And a lot of times we have the need to be needed.
Okay.
And that's actually a plight of leaders. Kind of spinning off of this topic. Leaders need to be needed. And they'll create scenarios in which they need to be needed. Or as in relationships, we'll create scenarios in which we need to be needed.
Right.
So there's this game that people are either initiating, complicit in, or are participant in, where it's this game of like, am I needed, and how can I create my value in the relationship by creating a need for what I provide. So I'll create scenarios by which you got to call me. Ain't nobody, like, I'm the first person on your mind to resolve that issue, to solve that problem, to answer that question. And by doing so, or in so doing, I establish my worth and value in this relationship because I need to be needed. So I'll even date people who need me because I need to be needed.
Wow.
And I'll pass over partners for projects because projects need me. Partners don't need me. Partners have their own and choose to co-labor with me towards a desired end.
Right.
Whereas a project, or dare I say a parasite,
Uh-oh.
needs me.
Boom.
Needs me, and at the same time validates my need to be needed.
Wow.
So it's a sadistic cycle that we participate in. Again, it does not change if you don't take responsibility for your role in it. And I would always suggest looking at yourself first and primarily, or for the most part.
Wow. Yo, gems, man. Gems being dropped. Before I come to you, Pamela, because I definitely want to get your take on what Patrick just said. Cynthia says, you know what to expect from that person. They may leave, but there's comfort in knowing he'll be back. Yo,
because he needs you.
Right. Right. And then
you picked him for that reason. My bad.
Yep. Oh no, go ahead. Say that again.
I said you picked him for that reason.
Right.
You got into the relationship to begin with.
Right.
Because you're like, oh, he needs me. She needs me.
Yeah.
So here I come.
Yeah, that's a dangerous reason to enter into a relationship for sure.
Mhm.
So Katiwe says, true, Cynthia, no fear of a new person.
Yeah.
So then we got V Sanchez says, taking them back, hoping they'll see your worth this time.
Yeah.
Man, that right there.
Yeah.
That right there. Katiwe also says, in cases where things end badly or if the person was particularly callous, it feels like redemption.
That's a good
Also
point.
for closure, which most women think is needed. I used to think that way too. Now reform. Yeah, a lot of people do tend
Yep.
to want closure from those relationships. And that will be a reason why they be like, well, maybe they'll explain what happened if I let them
Sure.
back in. Like, don't fall for it.
Yeah.
Don't fall for it. JD says the homosexual. I'm going to use that word. Yeah,
Yeah.
that by all
Yeah.
means.
Please.
Tanisha says, she wanted one of her exes to come back and apologize for how he abruptly ended our relationship. He came back like 5 months later, acting like he did nothing and with excuses on why he acted that way. So, yeah, sometimes it ain't worth it to even have them come back because they
No.
acting like, what happened? What you mean? Nothing happened. Like the slate has been cleaned or something. Like, yo, somebody hit you like Men in Black. Like you just forgot everything that went down.
That's
And
crazy.
one last one. Tiffany says, Patrick, you cut us tonight. Thank you.
We got another. We got some more time, so don't
Oh
think
man.
you
Oh wow.
might want
Come
to
to
fight me
you,
before we get
Pamela.
on.
What's your take?
I think the key to this is understanding that no one is ever going to give you closure.
Mm,
No one is
mhm.
ever going to give you closure.
That.
Like they are never going to say, like you mentioned earlier, the guy coming back acting like nothing happened. That's like the standard rule book. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. If you're a parasite, that's how you move because you're trying to keep your atmosphere conducive to how you want to move. The difference becomes when you become the change and you don't respond in the way that they want you to, and that's on you. Like us expecting that we're going to get closure from somebody is just setting ourselves up for this continuous cycle
Mhm.
because they're not. And like I said, no one's going to ever admit that they messed up, not unless you really call them on it. And even if you do call them on it and try to elicit the the closure, 9 times out of 10 you're not going to get any satisfaction out of it. It typically is one of
Right.
those, well, if I hurt you, what do you mean if
Mhm.
I,
Right.
and
Right.
if I did this, that, no, you did do that.
Right.
And to me, you just waste so much energy going back with someone who really has no emotional intelligence to
Yeah.
recognize what they're doing,
Mhm.
that you have to recognize closure. To me, it just becomes an irrelevant situation. You've got to stop
Yeah.
wanting that.
Mhm.
You are the closure you're seeing. That block game is the closure that you need. It's
Yeah.
just tough for us because our hearts are in it
Right.
and we didn't heal past that hurt properly enough. To me,
Mhm.
that's also a sign of it. It's a sign that you didn't heal enough, that you're willing to even entertain these kind of situations. So when you start to get faced with it and you're still having these feelings where you might let them come back in, you're not healed enough from it yet,
Mhm.
and you need to be extra strong to
Yeah.
help you give yourself that time to process in order to move through it.
Nah, that's real. That's real. So we had a few comments that came in. So Cynthia says closure is not in all caps
Yeah.
needed. It sounds like a good idea. It never ends
Nope.
out well. And then we had another one come in from Tiffany says closure is just an excuse to go back into that cycle of trauma. That's real. And it's very similar when you look at it from the concept of infidelity, right?
Mhm.
Where people be wanting all of these details. Well, tell me what happened. What was this? Like you don't want
Mhm.
that. You want
Right.
don't especially if two people have decided that despite the infidelity, they're going to stay together and work through it. The last thing you want are those sordid details. How can you build when that person is giving you how is that going to help? Like at the end of the day, and it kind of falls in line with this, which is how is the closure going to help? Like it seems like it would help, but really it's not because there's nothing that that person can say
Yep.
that's going to resolve or take away that pain. There's nothing that person can say that's going to make me be like, oh, I'm so glad you treated me that way. You know,
Right.
you were so right to just do me that dirty. Like I totally deserved all of it. Like you're never going to get to that point. So if you're never going to get to the point where you're like, yeah, I'm glad you did that to me, it makes no point. It makes no point.
Totally agree.
So before we come to you, Patrick, because I feel like you got something to say, I just want to recognize a few of these chat comments. Okay. So give me
Okay.
one
Yeah.
second. So first one, Katiwe says, Yes, girl, you are speaking the truth. As soon as I let go of the idea of closure, my block game became strong.
Yes, girl.
She said she let him know that I'm leaving and why, and then I'm out. Cycles are not my portion. That's real.
Amen.
Tiffany says, "Thank you, Pamela. I never realized that someone else couldn't
Yeah.
give that. That's real.
Yeah.
That's real." And V Sanchez says, "True, Pamela, 100. That's real."
Yeah.
So coming back to you, Patrick, what's your take? What's your additionals?
Um, how will you live with the apology that you might not ever receive?
Mm,
Because if you don't come to some level of resolution with that to that question, you're going to carry it into your next relationship,
that right there.
and you're beginning that next relationship from a deficit if that's the case.
Oof.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
facts. That's facts. Wow. Thank you, man. Thank you for sharing that. Like Cynthia said, you guys, if you're watching and enjoying this conversation, it is fire. Don't forget to hit that like button.
Yeah.
If you are enjoying the content and you're not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe and definitely join us in the chat. Y'all see, we are definitely willing to share your comments, your thoughts, as well as we have our discussion. So
Can
we got
can
a
I
few
add
more.
some?
Oh, no, go ahead. What'd you say, Pamela?
No, I was gonna say, can I add something what Patrick
Of
said?
course. Always.
Pastor Patrick. I think the also the one thing about that too is how you're gonna live with it. How do you forgive yourself
Yeah.
for it?
Right.
I think forgiveness is always in the root of that. Are we forgiving ourselves as well as we forgive the person? Because we tend to forgive other people so easily, but we forget about the fact that we have to forgive ourselves for even allowing this situation to occur. And once you do that, you free yourself from wanting to hold on to that need sometimes for validation or these half behind apologies and closure.
Right.
That's facts.
Yeah,
That's
right.
facts. Yes.
Exactly.
Tanisha was saying he got blocked after that conversation.
Yes, girl.
Yeah. Tiffany says, "Thank you, Cynthia." And Cynthia says, "Yes, Tanisha. Yeah, yo,
Hmm.
you gotta work on the block button,
Yeah.
gotta get your block game strong. That cutoff game, like Patrick was talking about, gotta make sure it's strong. So
Yeah.
definitely keep working on it, you guys. So here's the next question that I wanted to ask, because it's also important for us to, I guess you could say, be proactive. Do you feel like there are some signs while you may even still be with a person that can give you the indication that this is probably an ex that's going to try to circle back? And if we end things, I got to be cautious of this person trying to slide on back into my life later on down the line. So let me simplify. Are there signs that somebody may be an ex that'll come back into your life?
Yeah.
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 I
Okay.
think so.
I think so
What do you
too.
think
You want
some
to
of
go
those
first?
signs are?
Um, for me, I feel like the things when they're ambiguous with their words,
Mhm.
there's not a lot of follow through. That I think that they're leaving it open. Like I hate. Now I'm just gonna call it what it is. When they ghost,
Yes. Keep
there's
it
a lot of
100.
ghosting in
Yeah.
these situations. I hate to say it. It's not like he'll go without talking to you for 3, 5 days, a week, 10 days, a month. He's just not consistent with his words and his actions. I feel like they're leaving this kind of doorway open where it's like, well, there wasn't really anything definitive. They try to make sure you don't have the opportunity to really, in their mind, cut it off. Because I personally think a lot of people like that, they are waiting for you to either block them or to make some type of definitive action on your part as to not entertain conversations with them. And I think you can just kind of tell when somebody's a little needy,
That's
little
good.
too clingy
Mhm.
crazy. Yeah.
That's good.
That's
That's
good.
good,
That's
Pamela.
good.
Yeah.
Patrick, what's your take?
Yeah.
Two things kind of come to mind. Number
Okay.
one, if they have a problem respecting your boundaries within the relationship, it's likely that they won't respect your boundaries once y'all break up.
Right.
If
That's right.
if I'll use I'll use abstinence as an example, right? If you're like, hey, we ain't doing nothing because we ain't married, but every Friday they kind of like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to son mumbling, your mumble rapper,
Right.
and he don't really respect the boundary, then it's very likely that he or
Yeah.
she is not going to respect the boundary once y'all break up.
Right.
Which is a problem going back to the point of if there's still that gate of access to your life, to your heart that you leave open, they're not going to respect the boundary. That's one reason. Second reason I would say is if in the relationship when there's conflict, it always takes the person a very long time to recognize their role in the problem.
Mm.
So in other words, if the
Yeah.
person is great at identifying the problems in the relationship, but not so quick to recognize their role in the conflict or in the problem, but they come to that after 3-4 weeks and they finally get around to admitting that, this is what I did, this is what I said, or maybe this is what I didn't do or what I shouldn't have said. And then they confess. And by that time, you've almost kind of moved past it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very likely that that's how they'll find a way back into your life. So you'll break up with somebody, and then a month later, 2 months later, they'll reach out and explain why they thought that they were wrong, or their role in the dissolving of the relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll try to get back in.
Yeah.
Because that was a practice in the relationship. So there's a continuation of the standards
Mm-hmm.
Right.
that were set in the relationship. The using a business term, the standard operating procedures
Yes.
of the
Right.
relationship were such that it always took that person a long time to recognize that they were wrong, or at least admit it.
Right.
Might be a reason why they'll come back.
No, that's good.
That's
That's good.
good
So we had
advice.
a comment that came in from Tiffany. She says that she stayed depressed because she failed to break the cycle and was angry with herself. She had to learn to forgive herself and find the teaching moment. Yeah,
Yes.
that's really
Yeah,
important.
that
Really
Yeah.
is.
important. Yeah,
That's good.
man. Yo, so
Yeah.
another question. Are there any justifiable reasons to go back to an ex? So I know we talked about a whole bunch of reasons why, you shouldn't do it, cut them off, block them. Do you feel like there's ever a reason? Like, what's the exception to the rule where, you may have to circle back?
I'm
Pamela,
gonna let
you made a
oh no
oh,
no
she don't want that one first.
Pastor Patrick, go ahead,
now,
bro. Go ahead,
Passing that
bro.
one over to
Pass
Patrick.
that one to you. I want to hear this because I have my answer, but I am dying to hear what you want to say.
Man, the only thing that comes to mind is if there are children involved and the person wants to restore it, and work towards marriage. Now, I'm not saying primarily for the sake of the children, but it's included in the reason. And so, but that gets a little, gets a little shaky. But that's the only thing I think of, because I can't really think of a reason to go back. I really can't. Once it's over, I really, and that there's some Patrick in that. I'll concede. But other than that, I really can't see a reason to go back.
Okay, that's
I-
fair. What
yeah.
about you, Pamela?
None, absolutely not one. I don't care. No.
Yeah.
There is no justifiable reason because you're an ex for a reason.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Yeah.
an ex for a reason, and I just no, I just don't see it at this point. I've tried it. I'm
Yeah.
like I've tried it like so many times, and in the one situation, I'm trying to even think. Even in the one situation, I thought it's like a decade had passed. We found each other again. It just sounded like right out of a storybook.
Yeah.
No, he was still the same little simp before. So no, it was just like no.
Oh, wow.
The behaviors had not changed. It was still the same old thing. So no. But the children, you do give me pause. I don't have kids, but I can only imagine for the reunification of your family.
Yeah.
But
And even then, I think I'm thinking primarily in terms of like marriage.
right.
So we were married, got divorced. It's like we are a family, and I really want to give it a shot. And both people are like, they're willing to do the work. They're willing to go to therapy, willing to get to counseling to
Right.
reconnect a family. I'm like,
Yeah, and I'm thinking, ooh, that's a lot of counseling. Lord, we're going to pray through that.
particularly it depends on the nature of the reason for
situation.
the thing. Yeah.
Hey, check this out. V Sanchez says she's personally been there. They use kids as an excuse.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that kind of
y'all
goes to
ain't-
what you
y'all
guys
ain't
are talking about. Like some people
Yeah.
can use the kids as an excuse
Excuse.
for why they trying to come back.
I just want to see my kids. I just want to see my
Right.
kids.
Right.
And see, that's one of those ones that they could use in cycles, right? That's
Right.
one that, they can't just use one time and then you be like, oh, I can't use that one again.
Oh,
Like they could try you every quarter, every 6 months, every
Yes.
year. It is like, bro, it's a wrap, sis. It's over.
okay.
They come back for
Ooh.
tax-free weekend.
Right. They're like, yo, they need them dependents.
Yes.
Right.
That
They only contact me in April and August. Like, wait a minute.
Right.
Okay.
Like, you sure you don't want to get this another
Right.
time?
No.
Right. School supplies too. You know.
Right. So JD Clay says, right, Pamela, we must forgive ourselves. It may be hard and painful. Yeah, you definitely have to do that.
Yeah.
And T-Way was also saying, like, no reason
Yeah.
to let them come on back in, no justifiable reasons. Tiffany says, absolutely not. And now that I've learned, looking back is like me becoming a real pillar of salt, locked in the past.
Tiffany's
Yo,
the preacher.
it
Tiffany's the
went
preacher.
all the way
Tiffany,
to
I'm feeling you, sis.
a
Feeling
lot
you.
life on this joint.
You got my Bible, Tiffany.
Yes. Because
Right.
sometimes some of those exes will turn you into a pillar of salt if you look back at them one more time. Yes.
Oh man, that is hilarious. Yo, shout out to my girl. Asia is in the building. So glad you could join us today. She says, so is this only for relationships or could this go towards someone you used to talk to but never made it official? Oh, so what do y'all think to that?
Let me jump right in here really
Go ahead,
quick.
Pamela.
I've been here.
Okay.
I've been here. My sister Asia, yes, it applies because the patterns are still the same, girl. I had someone I just like followed around. I think I followed that brother around probably like 5-6 years if I think about it. Literally of inconsistency, no type of commitment. It was always maybe, sure, I'm gonna try to work on it. I actually at one point said, he's like, oh, I'll think about it. What do you have to think about? And then you have the mitigated gall to come back a couple of months, 6 months later, talking about I thought about it. No, you didn't. Stay thinking. Block. Same situation, girl. Same situation. I've been there. It applies. It applies. Whether official or not, don't do it.
That's real.
Hey, Jake, can you pull up Tiffany's comment again?
I sure can.
That prompted Pamela response. That was so good, Pamela.
Right there.
No, not Tiffany.
No,
I'm sorry.
it was
Asia.
Asia. Yes,
Asia.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you for joining us, Asia.
Yeah.
I'm going to answer your question, assuming that it comes from a woman asking about a man.
Mhm.
And under that assumption, if he never made it official, it's a reason. And that reason that it never became official should be reason enough for you to never get involved. Because
right there,
as men, we are simple and we are clear.
Right.
So if it's not clear, then the answer is no. If you're not certain of the status, if you're not certain of where you stand, you have a clear message. And that clear message is no. I've been working on Rosetta Stone, trying to get bilingual. So I'm gonna flex a little bit right here. Been studying Spanish.
Okay.
No.
You know what?
Yo, he must be on lesson 1.
Okay,
Right.
no. But
Yo, Asia says she agreed with us.
it's just the sad part. Some men won't tell you what the reason is because they want to keep you as a fallback if the other options don't work out, and you just got to make sure you know your place so you can navigate out of that fallback plan.
So dudes will put you on the shelf.
Yeah.
And I'll just check on you just enough to make sure you're not collecting dust on the shelf.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Like, hey, you good? You want to go to Olive Garden on Friday?
Yeah. How you doing? Yeah.
It's on me, girl. Don't trip. We'll go to Olive Garden. We'll hang out. You won't hear from me for 6 months, but
right.
Yeah. Hey, Patrick, it's kind of like using a sports analogy. It's like a bench warmer. Like you got to stay game ready. So coach gonna make sure you in there practicing, making sure you're present.
Yeah.
You're still not getting no PT, but we got to make sure that you're in game shape just in case somebody else get injured.
Right.
And we got to call you up, even if
right.
you in the D League. Like, yo, we just set you all the way there. You in the D League. You're not in our league no more. But just in case, we still need to know that we can make that call to call you on up to play in this game.
Yeah.
So that's real. That's real, ladies.
That's real.
That's real.
Exactly right.
If you're not in the game, leave the sport.
Yes.
If you can't play no more, just retire, right? You don't want to be one of them old players that won't give them up. Because those are people that we talked about before that want the ex to come back.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, will he come back? Like that's the person that's waiting to get called up. That's that player that was in the league, but they didn't get a contract. So now they're at home as a free agent, hoping somebody call them. Like, you don't want to be that person.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that person. Just move
exactly
on.
Right.
Right.
Do some personal work. Become aware of your attachment style.
Yes.
Yeah. Yo,
Become aware of your attachment style.
She was waiting for some Spanish. Like, but you gave her something, right?
I got you. I got you. I got you.
Yeah,
But
everybody was waiting.
Okay. I was like, oh, he's gonna drop it in
right.
Spanish.
No.
So hold on for a second. I got to give a huge shout out to my girl Ebony. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. She says that she found exes come back on scene when they are vulnerable. Ooh,
Yeah.
that right there.
Yeah.
That right there. That kind of goes back to not to bring him up again, but the homosexual. Like, like it's getting cold. Like,
Yeah.
he can't sleep on the park bench no more. Like he
Yeah.
needs to be somewhere that is insulated, heated,
Right.
He needs a
Right.
friend. He needs somebody to talk
preferably
to.
with 3 meals.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
No, that's real. So hold on, we got a few more comments.
nice like this, I wish. I'm just playing.
Yeah, right. Can I get a sandwich?
Okay.
Ebony says they are lonely, single, and feeling some kind of way. Yes, they are.
Yes.
I
So,
saw
but see
that smirk emoji too. I know what that means.
Yep.
Okay.
You already know.
Yeah.
You already know, man. Kaziwe says, so true. Consistently inconsistent. Then when you call them out, they act like they did nothing.
Okay.
You hurt. Your hurt is of no consequence at all. Then you learn and forgive yourself and become smarter.
And then you block them. Then you block them.
Got to.
Yeah. Block.
Somebody says, wow, preach, Patrick. And yeah, lesson 1 of Spanish. No, this is so good. Oh man, that was a good one, yo. That was a good one.
That was great.
So I'm gonna push back a little bit. I'm gonna play the devil's advocate because I know there's some people out there, right? Some people are like, but hold on, isn't this an exception to letting them back in, and that's a justifiable reason? So here's what I can hear people saying. What if y'all broke up amicable? What if it was just the fact that, they got this job and you wasn't ready to move and that's the only reason y'all broke up and now y'all in the same place again? Everything is good. It's just the location that didn't work last time. So what if it's the location that's the justifiable reason? What y'all think about people that say, well, the location is popping now?
Yeah.
The look on both of y'all faces is like, nah, that one ain't flying.
Yeah. I'm instantly thinking, okay, you have just watched Insecure and you think you're Issa and Lauren. No, you're not, boo.
That's funny.
That is TV. Let's be real. No. Okay, if I remember what my dad told me before he died, he told me, whoever wants to be with you, he says, let me tell you, and when a man wants to be with you, he will move heaven and earth. He live across the country. He will get his butt on a plane and come and see you because he's going to be determined to try to win your heart so that you will fly across that plane with him. So if you break up, there's a reason.
Yeah, that's real. And like we know long distance relationships is a thing. Yeah. So to that, it's just like, so y'all only good when y'all in the same locale. Please. Like y'all don't feel like y'all can do the long distance thing, the relationship not strong enough to make that work. So that is something to bring into question as well, right?
Yeah. I think that's the danger of transitioning from long distance to same city is normally when you're in a long distance relationship, the person subconsciously becomes a place of escape for you. Mm-hmm. In other words, the relationship is a vacation.
Yes.
Because whenever you're in the company of the person, the presence of the person, you're away from your normal life and they're away from their normal life. You're not doing day-to-day life with one another. So you're getting them on vacation and everybody's dope on vacation.
Right.
Everybody's dope on vacation. Yeah. So every time you're with them, it's a trip to Cabo, metaphorically speaking.
Right.
Hopefully y'all not going to Cabo every time.
Right.
But it's a place of escape. Because and the way that you know that is the case is when you get back on the plane, you're coming to the realization that you're headed back to reality. You're heading back to your normal way of life. So to respond to your question about you're now in the same city, I would say you probably don't even know this person to begin with. If all you've ever known is long distance relationship, you probably really don't know the person because y'all haven't even been in the same city enough to be around each other. You don't know the day-to-day life of this person, and that's the person you'll marry.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't marry the Cabo version. You marry the Compton version.
Cabo and Compton. Those are two very different places.
Exactly.
Very, very different.
And I love Compton. Compton's down the street. I love Compton. I ain't never been to Cabo, but I love Compton.
Yo, I ain't mad at that, man. Yo, so we know what you ready for. He like, yo, he ain't here for the weekend
Yeah,
getaway
right.
relationships.
No.
He's ready for that Compton love.
Yes.
Can we
Real
do
love.
life together?
Right.
Absolutely.
Can we do
That's real.
life
That's
together?
real.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's real. Tiffany says deep, a place of escape. Yeah, to a certain
Mhm.
Yeah.
extent.
Mhm.
Katiwe has a question for you guys. I'm gonna come to you first, Pamela.
Okay.
Well, maybe I should go to Patrick
Okay.
based on this question. He
Oh
says,
yeah.
"What are your views on a woman who leaves and chooses to return?
Mm.
Can they be trusted?" So yeah, I'll start with you, Patrick. Can a woman be trusted if she leaving and then choosing to return?
I'm confused as to what she might mean by trusted, because that would the question would be around why she left in the first place or why the relationship ended in the first place. In other words, if it ended over infidelity, no,
No.
no. And even if she could, I don't think that's wise for you
Mm.
because you'll live in a perpetual place of suspicion,
Right.
and you can't love and be suspicious at the same time.
Right.
But let's say that that's not the case. Maybe even that the relationship ends amicably, as you pointed to earlier.
He like if that's such a thing. Like
Yeah, it does. I
like
mean,
that was the tone that you gave. Like amicable. What is
no,
that?
no, seriously. Like, if I'm
Nah,
honest,
that was
that's my kind of
Yeah.
norm. It's my
yeah.
norm. I can end a relationship in this tone.
Hmm.
Oh,
No yelling, no tension. It's just like we're here.
Yeah.
May the Lord bless you and keep you. All that, like, but sincerely. I'm,
Yo,
I'm
you
I say
sitting
the joke
around
at the
with a
beginning.
okay.
blessing
Like,
over.
whew. All right.
He
Yeah.
like crowding around the bed,
Yeah.
like when
Like,
Jacob was about to pass. Now
Okay.
before I
right.
sent you out.
Exactly right. Let's walk between these two rams.
Right.
I don't know.
No, because that's covenant right there. Now,
That's
Patrick, you know
covenant, right?
what that means.
Yes.
We
Like we
got a
don't want to
moonwalk.
cut covenant.
We got to moonwalk through the rams. Anyway,
Ooh.
um, so this is, I guess, the reason I can answer this question is because this is all I've known.
Okay, got you.
Uh, I don't know the other side. So that's another conversation for another day for some other people. So uh, normally, in my case, it's the woman returns due to an epiphany.
Mm.
Mm,
I'll go with a Bible illustration, prodigal son.
mm,
Um, the relationship ends and she goes away to experience life apart from the relationship, to see what life is like apart from the relationship. And while she's quote unquote out there, she comes to herself.
Mm.
And
right.
and so coming to herself, she realizes it probably was a little bit different back where I had it, and I preferred that. So let me go back
Mhm.
to return to expect to see me standing on a hill, ready to run and chase and hug and kill the fatted calf and all this other stuff. And I'm like, what you doing here? You left,
Right.
you know.
Right.
So they yeah, they do come back. But I don't think you should go back. I think that's what
Yeah.
we've been saying all night. So
Yeah.
all day. So
For
yeah,
real.
no.
So Tiffany says, "Wow, a perpetual place of suspicion." Yeah, to a
Yeah.
certain extent.
Yeah.
And Katiwe says, "I was just wondering if there is a difference between a female ex and a male ex, and if it can be viewed differently based on what you said, Pamela." So, Pamela,
Mhm.
for the female perspective, what's your take on it?
I don't know there's a difference between a female ex and a male. I personally think that if it's from a male ex, if he leaves and comes back, I want to see the nature of it, because to your point, Patrick, if it was a matter of adultery or something like that, or cheating on me or infidelities, I I'm gonna forgive you, but I know I'm not going to forget. And trust is so important to me that I would be very hesitant about getting back into a relationship with you, because I don't want to punish you or punish myself. If I've
Mhm.
made that decision to forgive you, I want to be free. Like, it would take a lot of work for me to trust you again, and I don't know how many people are willing to do that.
That's
So
real.
I would be very hesitant about that,
Hmm.
because personally, if you left for a reason, even if it's not infidelity.
Right.
We're still going to have to work through why all of a sudden this relationship wasn't worth you working on it with
Mhm.
me and staying in it,
Yeah.
and what you had to go through. So we're going to have to talk through that, because some trauma has incurred and we're going to have to do the work. And if you can't commit to doing the work, whatever that looks like for me, because you left,
Yeah.
then this is a relationship that has to end.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
absolutely.
good. That's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great questions. Definitely appreciate that. If you
Yeah.
guys have any other questions for us, definitely drop them in the chat. We'll be happy to dive into them. But here's my next question for the both of you. Let's talk about prevention, right? How can we prevent exes from coming back? And I think we talked a little bit about it. Blocking, I'm sure helps. Is there anything else that we can do to take a preventive measure to make sure that we keep those exes at bay?
You want me to go?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can go
by
ahead.
all means.
Go ahead.
It's funny how that conversation comes up in a relationship to begin with.
Mm,
One way it comes up is particularly at the beginning of the relationship, because at some point, if you're dating somebody new, they're going to ask you why your last relationship ended, and
right.
is that person still a part of your life?
Mhm.
And at that opportunity, at that moment, you have the opportunity to set the tone of the relationship between you and this new person should that relationship end.
Mhm.
So in other words, you may say something to the effect of, I know, because now we're talking preventative, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So you would say something to the effect of, I don't talk to exes.
Yeah.
So in this new
Okay.
relationship, it would give the new person comfort.
Mhm.
But it would also let them know that should this dissolve, we're not talking no more.
Mhm.
Right.
And I can assure you that they will not forget that. If you're very clear about the fact that you don't talk to your exes, when y'all break up, they'll be like, oh yeah, she don't talk to her exes. He doesn't talk to his exes.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
Particularly
that's good.
if during the course of the relationship they see what you say to bear out to be true.
Mhm. Mhm.
You'd be like, second date, third date, whatever it is. You're like, yeah, I don't talk to any of my exes. Then y'all date for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and you never have to say, hey, my ex called me today. Or I got a text from my ex.
Right.
Right.
Oh wait. Then when y'all break up, it's like standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Speaking preventative.
Yeah.
What do you think, Pamela?
I was going to say, and I think the reason I struggled with it is I had to try to think, like, do I have that problem? I don't have that problem because I don't entertain you. I won't entertain you on LinkedIn. Like, no,
Right.
don't even. I have set that tone. So I think a lot of my exes know, don't even
Yep.
bother, child. She's not going to respond. So I think
Don't
it's
even
really,
try.
yeah, don't even try. I
Yep.
think it's about setting the tone and making sure that your words and actions match up, because I think that's part of the problem. A lot of people get into that. They say one thing and do another because you're so concerned about being friends with everybody. You have to understand, when you have exes, they're not friends. We talked about it earlier. You don't need all these friends. You need to heal and move past them. They had that chance. They're not your friend. Move on and don't entertain them on any level. Social media, none of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Wade caught the same thing that I caught when you was like, not even LinkedIn, like
Not
that,
even LinkedIn.
like we ain't even here to make no business connections or
No.
nothing. Like you,
Right.
like you are a rap.
You'd be surprised. I've had exes try to, hey, how you doing? Oh, I see you got a promotion. And that message just sit there. I got
Right. Leave them on red, Pamela.
Yeah, leave it right on red.
Leave them right on red.
Why would I even entertain it? Because even if I say thank you, that's going to be like an opening to you.
Oh, that is an open door right there.
For you to try to continue to talk to me, and I'm just not claiming that kind of energy. So no.
Kaziwe says, you are so right. Exes aren't friends. Facts. And V says, if you share accounts, payments, or other belongings, get rid of all that. Yeah.
Amen.
Yo,
Don't do it in the first place. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
No, say that, Patrick.
I was like, don't do none of that in the first place.
Yeah.
That comes after a courthouse visit.
Amen.
And certificates are signed.
Yes, we are not sharing Netflix passes without a ring.
That's what I was about to hit on right there. It's like, like some exes, they be trying to keep that Netflix password, your Hulu joint. They like, hold on, like I ain't been watching this.
Yeah, you need to pay for a subscription. The relationship is over.
Right.
Click.
Exactly.
Yo, that's real. That's real. As they say, they ain't they no more though. Steven says the homosexual promotion. Nah, man. No. Yeah, right. Because that is who would be asking you about a promotion. Like, hold on, you got a promotion?
Oh, shit.
First of all, it ain't you got a promotion, it's we got a promotion.
Right.
Right. That gotta make sure.
That's exactly what he thought.
Keep your circle
We coming
tight.
up.
Keep your circle tight. They looking for an opening.
Yeah.
Right. Yo. Look, Ebony says you better change your passwords ASAP.
That's the remedy.
Yes.
Yes, that's real, yo. Because
It-
you definitely got people out here still using their ex's passwords all day.
yes. It's so funny. I remember when I bought my house, I was
Hmm.
dating somebody and I
Hmm.
had the ADT people come to the house while
Yeah.
he was here.
Hmm.
I was just getting ready to like move in. I'm showing him the
Hmm.
house and stuff. And he heard the password. Don't you know? As soon as that relationship was over, ADT,
Change it right
change it
now.
expeditiously.
Yes,
Oh yeah, because
Change
you'd
it
be
up.
surprised. No, oh no, you got to be careful.
that's real
Think through,
talk.
ladies. Think through.
You got to
Yeah.
block
Funny.
all the way
Yes.
around, in every aspect, in
Oh
every
God,
way.
yes. Absolutely. Yes. Lock it
Nah, that's
down.
real. Yeah, man. It's so important for you to set the tone. And
Yeah.
I'm similar to you in that regard, Patrick, where you got to set the tone. Let it be
Yeah.
known how you relate with exes. Like
Hmm.
the cutoff game is strong. Like
Mhm.
they are no longer present. They are no
Hmm.
longer in my life. And that's it.
Yeah,
I'm not bringing them up. If you ask the question, that's the only
Right.
time that they ever going to come up in conversation. Right.
exactly right.
So
Exactly right.
when you set that type of precedent, I think a person will know. And you always gonna have people that's gonna try you like, well, I'm different. I'm gonna be that one.
Right.
No,
No, you're not.
no, you're
Right.
not. You gonna find out. You're gonna be like the rest of them
Hmm.
Yep.
out there in Blockland.
Exactly.
Lockland. That's funny. Yeah, and doing that not necessarily as a warning, but just
Right.
as you said, the sharing of information because you don't want to threaten
Yeah.
anybody. Like, yeah, if you don't work out, I will block you.
No,
Like,
no, not like that. No, no, man, not
Right.
like that.
pumpest thou brakes, you know.
Right.
But
Like,
but it's
man, we
like this is
just
what
getting
has
to know each
happened in the
other.
past.
Yes.
Not
And
around this
plus,
topic of conversation.
yeah,
Mhm.
if you and plus you have to remember your actions set the tone for your atmosphere.
Hmm.
Right.
So if you're very clear about your boundaries, you'd be very surprised. Like I have to admit, I don't run into exes. I
Mhm.
can
Hmm.
walk through town. I don't have to worry about it
Right.
because I don't know. I feel like my energy
Mhm.
radiates that I'm
Hmm.
not with that. We don't need to
Yeah.
happenstance meet up. And
Mhm.
some people, because they're happenstance, they don't, they haven't really cut all the ties. You
Hmm.
open yourself up to that. But
Mhm.
no, I
Yeah.
have to admit, I don't have to worry about it. Like I barely see them because I think
Right.
I've
That's
given
real.
that energy out there enough to say, yeah, don't know where I live. No, don't know how to get to the crib. No,
Right.
you don't need to worry about
Right.
any of that. We
None of
don't
that.
run
That's
in the
real.
same circles.
Now, you bring up something that got me interested. Like, because some people's cutoff game is like super strong, and you're going to get where I'm going in a minute. Now, what happens if you do happen to run across the ex? Is it like you notice them, or is it like, I don't know who that is? Who is that? Who is that over? I don't know, man. That's a whole stranger. I don't know who that is. Like, are you that cold with it? Where you
Yeah,
like, the
it
memories of
depends.
them is just completely gone. And if somebody is like, hey, ain't that who is that?
Now I'm totally telling on myself, but I'm going to do it. If I happen to, luckily with the pandemic, you have the mask on and the
Right.
hoodies, so people can't see you.
Hmm.
But if I have happen to see an ex and pat, hey, all right, and then I will expeditiously move
Mm,
stage left. Like I'm
right.
not trying to engage in too much conversation. I
Gotcha.
might
Gotcha.
lightly entertain you if like I see
Hmm.
you in a restaurant or something like that, just to
Right.
be polite because I don't want to be the rude girl. But
Hmm.
nope,
That's
I
real.
might walk by you on the street, act like I don't even know you, depending on how the relationship ended.
Hey, and some people are like that. Some
Yeah.
people cutoff game is
Yeah.
that strong. Yo, got to give a huge shout out. Krista is joining us. She says, I hate when people do that. Yo, but
Sorry.
it's real.
Sorry.
Sometimes you got to be like that.
You
Yes,
do.
we glad you could join us, Krista.
Hey.
So we had a message come in from Katiwe, says, so have you ever been in a situation where their family members continue to be in contact with you? Do you break up with them also? My thoughts is bye.
That's
So
funny.
I already feel like I know where y'all going with this. Family members, how y'all feel about them? Patrick?
Oh.
I've never had to experience that. Like
He like,
it's
yo, I ain't
never.
never met your family. Don't
No,
wanna meet
I've
them.
met them, but like kind of going back to an earlier question that you guys
Right.
addressed about like what happens if you see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen them.
Mm.
Your
Just
energy
just
is strong, brother.
just
Strong.
it's
Right,
it's
right.
just the
Like
way that
his energy just
It's like,
repels them, dog.
that's funny. But seriously, like the
Yeah.
way that life is kind of played out.
Hmm.
Like for instance, you date somebody in LA and they move to another city. our paths will never cross again.
Right. Right.
Or they never lived in the same city that you lived in to begin with.
Mm.
Once you break up, it's like there's no, even if I came to the city that you live in, I'm not coming to where you are.
Right.
So like there's no realm of or possibility for interaction or engagement of any form or fashion, because the social media thing is, of course, cut.
Yeah.
And I don't need to block you. I can just unfollow you. And
Yeah.
this is where the algorithm is a blessing. Because I can
Algorithm
unfollow
is a
you.
blessing. That's a new one.
Like I can
Yeah.
unfollow you and you won't even show up on my explore page now.
True.
Yeah.
So it's like and then we don't have we're not sharing friends in that way where it's like there's overlap. So and as far as a family component, no, even in the event that I meet your family, you meet my family, it's not, y'all ain't still connected.
Right. He's like, we're not exchanging contact info in any regard.
Yeah, no.
I'm mad at that. I'm mad at that. Yo, Krista got me laughing. She was like, do you have to be like that? Yo, we kind of do though.
You do, but then I'm not gonna lie, I kind of have both situations going on. I've had the one where I said bye to the family person, and that person, his mother actually worked for me.
Oh man, that's
And
tough.
that was
soap opera.
crazy. That was a soap opera, but it was cool. She understood and stuff. And luckily, then I wound up getting a new job, so we never had to interact like that again, and it was
Right.
great. But then, like I mentioned, there was someone that I was interested in and never really kind of grew to anything. And his sister and I are really close friends. We are still good friends, but I make it a point to. We made it a point in our relationship that we agreed that we would never talk about what goes on between me and her brother. So that way our friendship could be preserved. Like I told her, I don't want you to get involved in this. Whatever happens between us is between us. And that's just how it has to be. So we're still cool. And I just don't ask about her brother. I try not to. I might a pleasantry. How's everybody doing? I question everybody. So that way we can lump it all together and get one generic, and then I keep going. But and that's been the key. So I don't necessarily think you have to cut off all the family, but I think if you're going to maintain that relationship, the relationship needs to be a very strong one, and you need to set boundaries. Like, I don't want to hear anything about dude.
That's facts.
Vice versa.
Yeah.
Before I answer this question,
Yeah.
I want to go through some of our chat comments. So Tanisha says, Pamela is telling the truth. She had an ex from several years ago reach out to her on LinkedIn because he was blocked on the phone. See, they will try it.
Yes, they will.
They will try it. Yo, Ebony says she don't have any exes on social media. She out here keeping that block game super strong.
Smart.
Absolutely.
Super strong. Katiwe says, I'm glad I don't have social media yet. See, look, y'all out here just cold turkey. I ain't mad at y'all. And yeah, when it comes to family members, I'm similar to Patrick. Like, why am I exchanging contact with your peoples? It may be a situation where maybe we traveling, it's an emergency or something, but I'm not saving it. Like I may just had a number just in case, and then after that, that's it. But I definitely would not remain in contact with a family member of an ex. And let me ask y'all this: have y'all ever had y'all own family members try to bring up an ex? Like, how's such and such doing?
Oh yeah, my mama does that all the time because
Mama
I'm
be
single.
trying you.
Yes,
Mama be trying you.
and my mom's like, you need a husband before I die. So let me go through this list of people that I know about. Yeah, she does that all the time. I'm like, Mom, I don't talk to him. I don't talk to him.
Yo, once again, LinkedIn, Ebony says an ex told her to reach out because she viewed a profile on LinkedIn. See, so ladies, y'all gotta be weird. Even LinkedIn, you gotta watch out.
Yes.
Yo, what's going on, Katrina? Welcome to the stream. She says yes, and she hates that. That's real. That's real.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yo, anything else you want to add, Pat, to the family member situation?
No, my family doesn't ask.
Yeah.
I think I must have inherited the cutoff gene or something because they don't ask either.
They're like, yo,
came by natural.
They done.
Right.
Lord, I wish.
Oh man, yo, that's real. That's real. Yo, today's conversation has been so good. If you guys have any questions that you like to ask or ask and have us answer before we wrap up, definitely drop them in the chat. With that being said, I want to turn it over to the two of you. Are there any questions that you guys have about this topic that you feel like we haven't touched on, or that you like to ask either one another or me?
I'm thinking.
Pamela saying no.
I know,
Patrick thinking,
no.
I ain't mad at
I'm
it.
thinking.
Take your time.
I would want to know
Mhm.
if you did allow an ex back into your life. What would you do if you met somebody that you felt was better suited for you while you had the ex back in your life?
Mm.
And if so, if that were the case, how would you explain that to the new person?
Oh man, look at this. Look, this man.
Oh my
Yo, this man
God.
just came out the gate with a heavy hitter.
So the
I'm
question points to your vision, right?
wow.
Right.
The question points to your vision.
Whew.
Can you hold on to what was and yet grab hold to what is not yet at the same time?
Mm.
I think the
would
answer is
say,
no.
yeah, I would say no.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that's possible.
But I think that's what we try to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And earlier we asked the question of why exes come back. And someone posed a question about that experience, particularly as it pertains to women and to men. And I know that men do this, and I also know that in my personal experience, women do this, where it's like, I want to keep this kind of warm while I'm out there trying to meet the next thing. And then I'm going to ghost you once I meet the next thing.
Oh man.
So I'm trying to hold on to
hey,
something
you know what they
while,
call
like,
that?
That's the player's handbook.
You know what they
yeah.
call that, Patrick? That's that
What?
monkey branching. You know, where you got women and some men, they monkey
Yeah.
branch. It's
Yeah.
like they not letting go until they have grabbed that new
Yeah.
thing. But until then,
Mhm.
they're gonna keep swinging and
Yeah.
keep swinging until they can monkey branch from you to the next person.
It's like your home base in a game of tag.
Mm,
Right, but how long can you keep doing that? Like it is
yeah.
at some point in time you've got to trust that this
Mhm.
person that you're with is the person that you're supposed to be with. Like
Right.
you have to at least be all in enough
Mhm.
to be willing to figure that out and take the risk. I mean, that's what love is about.
Yeah.
So I don't even see how people can do that.
Mhm.
I do know it happens. Absolutely. I have never done that. I'm not good at the juggling thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like if I'm in, I'm in.
Mhm.
But oh yeah, to me that's just a level of immaturity and a
Right.
level of fear, a level like you don't trust. I would question that person's trust. Like you don't
Right.
trust yourself.
Yeah.
Your perception of yourself is
Mhm.
off. Something's not right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also think it's selfish.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree with that.
It's there it carries with it a certain degree of entitlement.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
That's like
entitled
what
to
Kristen
attention,
said.
affection. Yeah.
Trying to have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Right.
That right
Right.
there. Yep.
Yeah. Can't do it.
No,
Yeah.
all you're gonna do is get diabetes. Child, stop.
or something worse.
Worse,
Right.
Something
right.
worse.
That's
If
what
you're
they
not
call it.
watching yourself.
Yes.
Right.
So Katrina says, gotta stop being so easily accessible to the ex. That's facts.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
facts. She also says, I think it also depends on why y'all broke up in the first place. Yeah,
Yeah.
that plays a part
Yeah.
for sure. Krista says, I think if you're more insecure, you'll allow that behavior. Yeah,
I agree.
Mhm.
no doubt. No doubt.
Mhm.
And Ebony says, having your cake and eating it too. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Gotta be
Yeah.
careful of that.
Ooh,
Man, that was a deep question,
that was
Patrick.
so deep.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah. I think think about if you were to meet somebody in their predicament,
Mhm.
would you see them as a person of integrity?
Mm.
And they were like, I talked to my ex right up to the point that I knew this was going somewhere. So while you were pursuing me, let me speak from a man talking about a woman.
Mhm.
While I'm pursuing a woman, while I'm investing resources and time into this relationship, she's holding on to her ex until she's certain that this is a thing.
Right.
If I were to
Right.
find that out, I'd be like,
Right.
it was a thing.
Yeah.
It's not a thing anymore.
Right.
But I think a lot of people unfortunately have that going on, that mentality, depending on where you are
Right.
in your love journey.
Right.
You know, I think a lot of people are playing those games because you just don't want to be alone.
Mhm.
You're more focused on the fact that you don't want to be alone, that you're just
Right.
not willing to really give yourself to the full process, you know?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
real. That's
Yeah.
real.
Oof.
Tiffany says, Jay, this has been so good. Thank you and your guests, Pamela and Patrick. I've gained so much
Aw,
wisdom with so much humor too. I appreciate this platform. Yo, we appreciate
thank
you, Tiffany.
you.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Everybody, yo, this has been good. If you guys
Yeah.
have any questions, drop them in the chat. We'll address them before we
Yeah.
go. But now, Pamela and Jay Patrick, man, I appreciate both of you for coming on.
Sure.
It's
Oh,
been
this is
amazing.
great.
Yo, before we wrap, I'm gonna give both of you an opportunity. If you have any questions that came to mind or any closing words on this topic that you want to leave, definitely feel free. So let's start with you, Pamela. Any questions or any closing or last words?
Oh my God, no. The questions, guys literally answered all the questions that I was thinking of. And that last question was
Yeah.
just so good. For me, I think the last thing I would want to say is be open to love. I think as women, don't be so afraid of what society may make you feel like, oh, you're this age and that age and you're not with someone. It's not a bad thing. I like God works on you in solitude. There's a reason why this is your time why you're alone. So that way when you are ready, the right person will come in and it'll work. My parents told me love is not complex. And they were married for 38 years. It
Wow.
doesn't take 5 years to figure out if you're going to marry somebody. My dad said he married my mom in a month because he knew she was the one.
Wow.
And that was it. It doesn't take that. Love is an action and it's truth. And we should love ourselves enough to deserve men and women who treat us like the jewels that we are. So
Yeah.
thank you for this opportunity. It's been wonderful. I
Oh
appreciate
man.
it.
Such an
Yeah.
honor, such an honor. So, a few comments before
Indeed.
we come over to you, Patrick. So,
All right.
Katiwe says, "No, I would not." That's a great point. How can you treat someone like that? Why would you want to?
Yeah,
I can be next. That's facts. That's facts.
that's it.
Katiwe says, "Thank you. Yeah, appreciate you for joining us." She said, "Dropping gems, Pamela.
Oh yeah.
Definitely was." And
Kaboom. Kaboom.
Pastor Patrick
Yes,
dropping the word.
We gonna
yes,
have
Yo,
words.
dropping so many
yes.
gems.
Katiwe. We gonna
Yes.
have words.
JD says family will pressure you to give the ex another chance. Yeah, you got to be careful. And
Yes,
that's why you got to be mindful of how much access you give in your family too. You
yep,
definitely do. Definitely do.
Yeah.
yes.
So Katiwe says, grateful for the insight and the community. Hashtag block game strong in
No,
2022.
that's
Yes.
right.
Yes, that
Yes,
is the hashtag
yes,
right there.
That's funny.
So
yes.
Patrick, man, what about you, man? Any other questions, deep or shallow, or
That's
any
funny.
last or closing words you want to leave us with?
Jay and Pamela, I thank you all so much for allowing me to participate and have this conversation with y'all. Thank you for everybody who's watching live and will watch on demand at some point. Please support this great work that Jay is
Yeah.
doing. This is top notch, man. This is professional operation. Thank you so much for your opportunity. Parting words: go to therapy, get on a couch, and
Ooh,
process your stuff. Because I'm assuming that people date in order to get married. And one of the purposes of marriage, according to psychologist Harville Hendricks, one of the purposes of marriage is to heal childhood. So the
mm,
people you choose are your attempt at healing your childhood traumas, things that you
Wow.
did or did not get from your parents. You're looking to, so the person you choose in some way is a reflection of one or both parents to some extent, because
Mhm.
you're trying to heal traumas and hurts from either intention or neglect that came into your life. How do you remedy that? Get on the couch. If you got insurance, talk to your insurance provider and see how much money they allocate towards your mental health and go get you some therapy, because you
yeah,
choose people out of your health, your mental health, or the lack thereof. You're worth the investment. If you go to the gym for your body and you take proper steps to take care of your nutrition, go ahead and take the proper steps to take care of your mind. And you'll be better for it. Your relationships will be better for it, and your whole life will be better for it. So do the work.
yeah.
Take responsibility for yourself. That's it.
Wow. Yo, dropping
Yeah.
gems once again.
Amen.
Krista says, come on, preach.
That's
Cynthia
funny.
is giving you the round of
That's
applause.
right.
Yo, I mean, the two of y'all have brought so much heat tonight. It's been a joy diving into this topic. I appreciate you both. And y'all both have an open invitation. Anytime y'all want to come back on the podcast, the
I
live
love
show,
it.
anything like that, we can definitely make it happen. I've had so much fun speaking with you guys. I want to thank everybody in the chat. We appreciate you guys for joining us. Tiffany says, wow, marriage heals childhood. Powerful. Yes. Katiwe, one last comment says, yes, I love my therapist. We were just discussing this a few weeks ago, Jay. Yeah, we were. We
Yeah.
were. It's important. Yo, these messages are vitally important, man. If
Yeah.
you need to sit on that couch, go do it. Don't
Amen.
let any
Yes.
stigmas or anybody talk you out of it. So,
Mhm.
yeah, man, that was a perfect gem to
Yes,
drop. And
that was.
yo, you guys come back next Tuesday, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern time for the Right to Real Love live show. We're going to have another great topic slated. Got some new guests that are going to be joining us, so you don't want to miss it. But thank you again, Pamela.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Patrick. It's been an absolute
Pleasure.
pleasure,
So
you
nice to
guys.
meet you,
And
Patrick.
Indeed.
chat,
Thank you.
thank you guys, and we can't wait to catch you next time. So Pamela and Patrick, just hang on for a moment. We'll end the show, and then we'll chop it up a little bit after that. But you guys, thank you so much for joining us,
Thank you.
and stay blessed.